two, one, and we are here. What's going on, beautiful, beautiful world? It's your boy Hollywood. Blessings to everybody. Again, thank you for coming through. If you are here, more people will come through, but I just want to start the conversation, man, because I got a lot to talk about with this man right here. Before we start, just hit up the social media sites that I got up there. I don't ask for anything to do what I do. I just want to spread knowledge, and as I'm spreading knowledge, I'm learning stuff all the time. So I feel like it's a symbiotic circle here, man. As I'm learning, you're learning. So I just want to put a platform up to do that. And as you know, you gotta follow and spread the word for it to grow, so everybody can learn as well. This brother right here, I don't think really needs no introduction. But I think I'm gonna let him introduce himself, just in case you don't know.
Yeah, what's good, everyone? This Shmmykami here, aka CeroBlast. I'm here with Hwoodtv. What's good, everyone?
What's going on, man? So, man, I've been wanting to have you on here for a while, man, because I'm a part of the community as well. So, there's a lot of things. But first, I want to say, you're doing some good work, man, and we're gonna talk about your work in a second, man. But
talk about work in a second.
yeah, we definitely gotta talk about your work in a second. But man, let's start from the humble beginnings, man. Before we even start, well, like your family and stuff. Or about you.
You want so family background and family and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we start from when I was born, man. All right, so it's a rough childhood. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna bring the rundown right now. Funny thing is, I have two separate families. My mom is, she was married to not married, but they had my mom and my biological father. They had me when she was 18.
Oh wow!
And this was when they were in Singapore, I believe. It was in Singapore. Yeah. My mom was in an abusive relationship between her and the biological father. Biological father was a drug dealer at the time. He was making mad bread. This man was making mad bread back in the days.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. It was hustling. I respect it. If you can do it, you can do it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's not a lot of people that were born hustlers.
There's risk to it. You can die the next day, and shit happens like that, right? So, props to dad. When my dad brought her over to Canada, to live in a better economy, because back then it was really hard to be in that situation.
Right.
So dad brings mom over here. We're in Canada, so technically I was born in Canada, so I am a Canadian.
Yeah.
At the time, my dad's family side, her sisters, mom, aunts, etc. Because sometimes drug dealers, they tend to be very unstable mentally and physically. This was the case. My biological father was mentally unstable. He was conditioned with bipolar disorder. And it happens. If you to be a drug dealer, you got to test the drugs, right? So eventually you get addicted to it. So he got addicted to it eventually. This man was smoking like 2 packs a day. Shit was crazy.
Right.
Hold on.
You remember all of it? Like, you remember this, or this is like you were told this?
I was told this.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like, damn, you got a vivid memory.
No. I was told this. I was literally a baby back in the day. I had no idea what's going on. But my mom would be telling me all this stuff, right? So, she would tell me that the sisters would come in and help me out and take care of me while she goes out and look for work, right? Because back in the day she couldn't do that. She had no license. She had no visa to work. Like it was rough for her, right? It was hard for her. Like, my mom is so to this day my mom is so strong. It's crazy. It shocks me how far she came from that time to this. And every time I think about it, I just cry. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's if I could just say it, understand how she made it through that, it'll help me get through life.
Because that type of strength not everybody's born with. You know what I'm saying?
And you know what? And it's much easier to understand because she had me as a child, and her whole world revolved around me. She worked her ass off for me, and that's crazy. Some of the people out there, they need to understand that if you have parents or you have a family member that that's been there for you since day one, my nigga, since day one, since you were born, you gotta appreciate that. You gotta look back from the past and understand, how hard your family member was trying to take care of you.
Take care of you, yeah.
Yeah, and when you get older, you should try and give it back to them.
Right. Oh yeah. Appreciate that. Because without, you can never. I always tell kids, there's never anything that you're ever gonna be able to do to pay back your mom because she had you. You can't. There's nothing like that. There's nothing.
You're holding that L till the rest of your life.
There's never. So and then on top of that, what she showed you was to show you the strength and the possibilities of what a human being is capable of. Not even just a woman. Not even just the fact that, remember, she went through labor. Now you gotta just to do. It's you gotta have a lot of respect for mom. Man.
A lot of props. But yeah, back on topic. Yeah. So she was struggling. Trying to like take care of me and shit. And biological father still doing his own thing. He was actually hospitalized at this point. He was unstable to take care of me. So it was just mom by himself. They broke up a while bit after. This was at the time when I was like around between the age of 3 to 6. And then fast forwarding a couple of years later, when I was like around 7 to 9, my mom actually met another person, another brother, another man. And at the time when she was taking care of me, and the family, my dad's family side was taking care of me, one of the sisters was able to offer some housing for my mom while she was looking for work, and just taking care of me.
When you say sisters, you mean like her sister or like just a friend, like a sister?
No. The biological father side. He has 4 sisters, so he has his own separate family, and he was taking care. One of the sisters stepped in, and they took care of us.
Wow, okay, that's
cool. They specifically took care of me and took care of her,
right.
Because they felt like they were responsible for actions of my father, right? Yeah. Okay. So while in the meantime,
a lot of other families on the other side don't usually step up like that. It would be like the mother side of the family would usually kind of sometimes they. Whatever, that's not our problem, so wow, that's big.
Yeah, absolutely. That's if it wasn't for them, I honestly wouldn't be here today. I honestly would not be here today. My mom probably wouldn't even be here today. So that's highly respectable.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, one of my aunt, she housed me when I was a kid, when I was a baby, and she at the time had a boyfriend, and the boyfriend was also helping me take care of me and take care of my mom. Help her find a job and stuff like that. She eventually started finding work, and then somewhere along the lines, the aunt's boyfriend, they broke up or something. I don't know what happened in that. But shit happens, and aunt's boyfriend, eventually started dating my mom.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. So the aunt just literally moved out. She pieced it. She didn't want to stay. She didn't want around that anymore. But what shit happens, right?
Yeah.
So boyfriend now is
it's like step pops now.
It's step pops now. He stepped out. He took care of me, and you know what? Like till this very day, like this man is he has a crazy ass heart. Like this man is so supportive. He's so open minded. I could never find a different. I would never think that he's not actually my real father.
Yeah. That's your dad.
That's your dad. Yeah, this man has molded me to grow and learn about the values of life and everything, and he's taught me a lot. So I really appreciate
that.
It.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So they was dating for a bit, and then eventually things started to get more serious. And then he started taking care of me. This was actually around the time when I was around 8 to 10, and I started remembering stuff.
Right.
And then when I was able to start remembering stuff, I would remember that my dad was like really serious with me being good in school. Well, he was actually really laid back and just really chill. Like he would just be like, you know what, if you just try your best in school, you don't gotta worry about too much. But on the other hand, where your mom was like so serious, my mom was so serious about me taking school, and
serious,
if I was ever like misbehaving in school or just getting trouble in school,
ass whooping time.
Like she would smack the shit out of me. She would get so mad. Like one time, like when I came back home from school, because I got in trouble, in this. I spat in the kid's face.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This is back in my grade 3 or 4. And my mom got so mad. I already knew it was coming. She was walking me back home. I was like, damn. She's holding my hand really tight. I was like, it's coming. The moment she opened the door when we got in the house, she threw my backpack all the way to the dining table, and it cracked the vase, the flower vase. Right. And I was like, I started crying.
Yeah, I
just started crying. I just started crying, and then I ran into my room. Like I sonic speeding into my room. I didn't want to say nothing. And but yeah, I was actually really scarred in wanting to really focus on doing well in school.
Wait, so that you think that was the turning point of you saying like, oh shit, I can't do this like type of stuff again. I gotta.
Yeah, that was kind of a turning point for me to kind of step it up. And you know what? Let me start
playing these games.
Let me start taking school a bit serious. Right. So, yeah, and you know, fast forwarding, I finished elementary school. My grades weren't that good. To be honest, I was never the type of kid who would really do well in school, because you know, school is not for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, school. The only thing school does is teaches you disobedience. It teaches you obedience. It teaches you how to, you know, be responsible. It also teaches you how to be. It's literally a place to social gather and create connections. That's about it.
That's true.
At the end of the day, it's just a piece of paper when you go to college or university. It straight up is. It is. The stuff you be learning in those classes, you can learn it online.
Yeah,
it's just you're not,
especially nowadays. Yeah. Especially nowadays, everything's on the internet.
Where it's just you're not getting that. It's not a degree that says, hey, you're certified to do this. Right. Unless you prove that you have that working experience. But after I finished elementary school, we went to high school. We moved out to a different apartment. At the time, I was still with my stepdad and my mom. At this time, just on a quick background on my ethnicity, I am Canadian. Canadian is not ethnicity, but I was born Canadian. I am Chinese. Yeah, I'm Chinese and Vietnamese, and I speak Chinese, Cantonese, not Mandarin.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I understand a little bit of Mandarin. I also understand a little bit of Vietnamese, but I can't speak those languages. I probably intend on learning those eventually, but for now, because I'm so fluent in Cantonese, it's because of my mom, right? So, as far now, I'm just gonna pause right here. We're gonna just go back to my other family side real quick. For my dad.
Well, before, just want to make sure everybody knows the CeroBlast right here. We're talking about his growing, his childhood, man. How do you get where he is? And it's already interesting, man.
Listen, my childhood was like OD. It was just crazy.
Man. So go ahead. So we're gonna go. We step into now your mom's side of the family now, right?
Yeah. Now we still on the biological father side of the family.
Okay.
Yeah. So I already explained like what happened between when I was a baby till grade 7. Yeah. So bouncing back to my biological father's side, this man was hospitalized, but he would be able to step out of the hospital, you know, a couple weeks here and there, and you know, he would ask me if I can visit him sometime.
Oh wow.
And you know, I tried to, but my mom doesn't like me visiting him because my mom to this very day, my mom still hates him. Like she has a grudge against him. It's crazy. She always holds grudges, so you know, I understand that. And at this point, she was placed on childcare support, and it is his responsibility to pay on a monthly basis. Yeah. Where was it? Yeah. So yeah, he was hospitalized, but then he eventually got better. So he started taking, but he was on a lot of medication, right? It got so bad at one point. I remember it got so bad at one point. He had an episode. And he tried when we were in the house. I stepped into a washroom and he was taking a shower. This man looked like he was possessed by the devil or something. He jumped out of the shower and like he literally tried to like grab me and like started like punch me and shit. And like and then luckily I think my aunt stepped into the washroom because she heard me screaming, and my dad just pushed me down the stairs. And I was all right. I didn't fall all the way downstairs. I almost did though. So I was fine, but I was hurt. So I think my grandma was the whole family was there. Like there was a family dinner for my
What age
father.
was this?
Oh, this was when I was like around between 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So your mom was already with your stepfather now. That was already solidified.
Yeah, that was already solidified.
Okay, so he was just coming to visit out of one of his days from the hospital, and he was just chilling.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, he had his own house. He had his own. We were chilling at his mom's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your grandmother.
The grandmother.
Right.
We were chilling at the house. We had a family dinner.
Okay.
And all that shit went down. So there was he had an episode, and this is not his first episode. He always has these.
Right.
Like, it's random, just like how people DP randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
your man. To it.
yeah. So your man just tried to like go ham on me, and then grandma was like, you got to step out. We're gonna have one of the aunts just drive you back to your mom.
Okay.
I was like, okay. And then it's it was rough, man. Like the childhood, like I didn't have that much friends. It was hard to make.
Real quick, I don't want to. So at this point though, is your mother cool with your father's side of the family? Because you said you went over there to go. So she let you go visit.
She's not.
So she totally was just like, you could go. And
no, she does not associate with my father's side of the family at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's even though they try to help her a lot, she still doesn't want to, like, she doesn't want any trouble. She doesn't want any drama, and I understand that.
Yeah,
right?
I can understand.
Yeah. Just backtracking a little bit here. Back before when they were when my stepfather was together with my mom, when my mom was still together with him, I was actually put in foster care for a couple months. Oh. So I, because my mom wasn't able to support me and my dad wasn't able to support me, so I was in foster care for like, I would say like 3-4 months. I remember I would turn on the television in this random family house, and I would be watching like Saturday night shows, like Power Rangers or whatever.
Right.
And then when I would sleep, I would sleep in a baby bed. I don't remember what that word is called, but I would sleep in a baby's bed. Something like that? Yeah, I don't remember the name, but I would sleep in a baby's bed, and then that process would have repeated. Just wake up, eat, shower,
watch TV,
get homeschool, watch TV, whatever, and then that process just kept up for like a couple months, or I don't even remember, but. I remember, and I was so young. I still remember to this very day, I can vividly imagine it. After the first couple months passed by, my foster parent, one of the foster parents, I think it was the dad, he was like, hey, I have a surprise for you. He's like, okay, yeah, what's up? Oh, well, I'll tell you, get in the car. And then because I've been talking about how I miss my mom so much, when I'm going to see my mom.
Okay.
Yeah, and at this time, I think she was in contact with her social media worker, and she was helping her out and set her up with everything and all that stuff. So she gets in car. So foster dad was like, hey, get in the car, blah blah. It drives me downtown. Downtown is from this place here to downtown is about half an hour away.
Okay.
Right. So he drives me to downtown. And then he drops me off at a bus stop, which is kind of random. And I'm like, okay, this is where you get off. And you know what? Just wait here and wait for the bus to come, and then get on the bus. And I'm like, okay. and I'm sitting here in the passenger seat, and he opens the door. He's like, he didn't say goodbye or anything. He didn't say nothing. Yeah, he's like,
get out, man.
Nah, he didn't say get out. He's like, all right, just get off here, and then wait for the bus to come and get on. And he packed my bag and all that stuff, and he packed me, and that was it. So the bus came, and I got on, and then the bus driver just looks at me, and then he says, hey, are you Josh? He's like, yeah, I'm Josh. Hey, you know what? Go step off for a second and then wait for the next bus to come. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay, so I said, so I got off I waited for the next bus.
Right.
And then when the next bus came, the bus driver came out. He goes, are you Josh? He's like, yeah, I'm Josh. Well, hey, I got a surprise for you. So you know how in buses there's a second door that opens in the middle of the bus, right?
Yeah.
So in the middle of the bus, when that door opened, my mom was right there. She came in right from the bus. And then the bus driver just tapped my shoulder. He says, hey, look, your mom's just right over there. He's like, wait, what? Where's my mom? He's like, and I look over there. He's like, oh shit, that's my mom. And then I ran up to her so fucking fast. I ran up to her so fast. And I said, mom, is that you? He's like, and I started hugging her. And I started crying. Like I started, this is crazy. And my mom started crying too. He's like, and it was just to this very day. I remember this moment to this very day. It's so vividly. I can remember to this very day. And this is crazy. This to this very day, that because I can remember that so vividly, I want to become. My goal in life was to become a social media worker, and it still is. I eventually want to become a social media worker because it was just so inspiring at how the social media social worker helped my mom get back on track, and it was able to create that moment for me. So it's really inspiring me. It really inspires me to see that.
Right. To get families back together.
Yeah. So everything was good. And then this is the part where my mom got together with my stepdad.
Yeah, dude, that's a whirlwind right there.
Yeah.
Because, geez, I mean, so hold on, just question real quick before we work through whirlwind real quick.
Go ahead.
There's so many things. I'm just like, damn.
I went kind of back and forth.
Yeah. I mean, this is your time, but it's just crazy. So first of all, it was interesting. Do you know now why they did it in that way? Because I mean, don't you think? I mean, me personally, like, so for instance, I would put an example. So I'm a single dad. So I have my daughter has like these really close friends, and one in particular, her name is Aliana, and that little girl I say is like my daughter as well because I take her everywhere with her if I have the chance to, because her mom is kind of not as involved as, she's there, but she's not there. You know what I mean? Like, she has to work.
I know.
She got a lot of kids and stuff like that. So, I try to understand everybody's point of view, and if I have it, I'm gonna give it. So let I would. So I'm just saying, me personally, like that's my I feel like that's also my kid. So I'm gonna make sure everything is good. So I mean, do you know what was that whole scenario about? Just leaving you there, and was that supposed to be how it was supposed to go, or was that just? I don't know, because I don't know. I would have waited there all day until your mom came. Like that.
I know.
That's me personally.
I think what happened was the social media, the social workers set that up.
Oh, set it up that way. Okay.
Yeah, set it up that way. Just to surprise me. I don't know.
That's interesting because I would think that would be more like scary in the sense than. I mean, everything worked out, but I don't know. I would be scared for you. I'm not leaving now. Like, hell no.
I think the social worker just set it up in that way, just to surprise me.
Okay, all right. Well,
but it was in that moment that I was able to vividly remember that.
Right. Because I mean, I wonder, do you remember how you were feeling during the time frame of you getting out of the car with the foster kids, the foster parent, and until you met the mom? Like, were you? I mean, emotions must have been crazy.
I was just eagerly waiting for something to happen.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Yeah.
That's it. All right.
When you're a kid, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Because I mean, well, I think the reason why I say this is because my daughter's, I guess you could say emotional in the sense. So she is very like, I don't like to be alone kind of thing, or, things. So I'm thinking about if it was her and what she would be doing, and she'd probably be crying, waiting for something to happen.
I had a feeling it was gonna be my mom coming.
Oh,
but,
you had a.
But because I've been wondering about my mom for a while, and then but I really didn't know if it was my mom. I just had a hunch it was.
Right.
Just a kiddie mind you have. It was kind of like is my mom gonna come or something like that?
Yeah. So all right, and then the aunt that was with your stepdad, and then how was that relationship? Is there a relationship there, or was it just like a?
Oh, I'm still cool with the other family side right now. I'm in this house I'm living right now. I'm taking care of my grandmother.
Oh, okay.
Who was the son of my dad.
Right.
Unfortunately, he has passed away. So.
Oh wow! Sorry to hear that. Your father. Yeah.
Yeah,
the biological dad.
Biological dad.
Let's make sure we
yeah. He's passed away.
Oh man.
Yeah, a man with so much money and a man $1 million, a man with so much millions of dollars just threw it all away.
Right.
I saw a man with so much money went to homeless.
Right.
Yeah, this man was literally homeless. He had no money management, and he had no sense of money management, and he eventually lost his way. And he was asking me to help him out and stuff like that. And I did try my best to help him out.
So and this is in your later years.
Yeah, this is my later years. This is like when I was like after in my 18s or 20s. Or
so this is fairly like. I wouldn't say recent, but it's you knew
it's still around that time. It's around that time. Yeah, but yeah, he just couldn't take it anymore, and he eventually took his own life.
Oh shit, he did that.
Yeah,
that's rough, man. I always say that we don't know what people are going through to push them to that level.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like it is. Like I could easily say right now, like, oh no, I would never do that. I would never do that. But the circumstances haven't put me in a position to even think that way. You know what I mean? There's just one wrong turn or one wrong step or one thing just go wrong, and you never know what a person is gonna think. Yeah. It's all about circumstances. I mean, I would love to say that that's not me, because I have so much to live for. I got my family and stuff.
It's crazy because he didn't even leave his legacy behind. He didn't leave anything behind. He just did. But the one thing I learned from him was he was a man of a very unique mindset. He would learn anything that's new that would come to him, and he would try and grasp that new skill set, and he would hone it. Like he was able to he can sing, he can create, he can draw, he can paint.
Wow, he's an artist, man.
Yeah, he's an artist. Like he could do multiple things. Like he had so much skill sets. He can speak. He was able to speak 7 other languages. Wow. He could speak Vietnamese, Chinese, Mandarin, Japanese, Cambodian, Spanish, and Italian. It was crazy. I was like, "What the fuck? How do you do that?" He's like, "I just study it." I'm like, how?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Some things people, some people just have a niche.
Yeah, and that's what I really took from him when I was a kid, because at the time I was still, when I was in high school, I would still visit him from every
time to time.
Time to time. He had his own house already.
Oh wow! So wait, hold on, because I'm gonna get a time frame for this. So when you would visit him, like, what's the age group? The
age group when I was visiting him was between around 13 to 18 years old.
Okay, and then he had got a house. He was able to get him.
At this time, he was still drug dealing, so he was making around.
Okay. So he was
making around $1 million a year.
Jesus.
Yeah. So your boy had mad houses. He was already married to another wife.
Wow.
Yeah, married to another woman. So he had another baby. So I had a brother.
Wait, when you say had, like you know?
They had sex. She got pregnant, and then a brother was born.
When I said Adam, I mean past tense, as in he's not here anymore.
No.
Okay. I was like, damn.
She actually raised she got pregnant, and a brother. A baby was born, and they named him Adam. So he is technically my biological brother.
Right.
I have a stepbrother, but I still consider my brother. That's on the other family side. My mom is with my the stepdad. They had their own child too.
Right.
So it gets all confusing because there's like 2 different family trees. It gets me fucked up, but I'm kind of used to it. So the Adam, I don't really talk to that much anymore. Okay. He would talk to me online here and there. He would watch a stream actually sometimes.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, he just lurks, but it's cool. The other brother, his name is Nick. We just call him Nick for now. This guy is hella introverted. It's crazy. He grew so little, and he's all grown up now. He's in college. It's crazy. This is crazy how time flies. This is crazy. Does, he's in college now, and he's telling me, yo, Josh, why is college so fucking boring? It's just me sitting here learning. It's just me sitting here listening to a prof, not even doing anything. And he's like, I told you, it's just you're just buying a piece of paper. So you right. Right. So yeah, it's anyways, backtracking here, between the ages of 13 and 18, I was visiting my biological father. He already had his own house. He was still having his own episodes, and then eventually his episodes put his family in danger. One night, he told his wife, I'm gonna fucking burn the house down, while he was having his episode. So he actually did. He burned the house down, and apparently Adam was still a child at this time. So he was taking his nap. This was during the daytime. He was taking a nap, and he was in his room upstairs, and he was sleeping. He was passed out. The only people who were in the house was Adam's grandma, who was taking care of him at the time. If no one was home. So there was a very scary moment for grandma. So grandma immediately opened up the window in Adam's room and shouted out to the neighbor, call the police. And they did. And then, grandma was really slick. She grabbed Adam and then dipped out of the house ASAP.
Wow. When you say grandma, this is your father's mother.
No, this was the wife's
mother.
Wife's mother.
Okay.
Yeah. So so she was she was pretty smart about it. And then while they got out of the house, dad was continuing to just break everything around the house. This man punched through a TV. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. He punched through a TV. He broke everything in the house, and then after he broke everything in the house, he burned the house down. That was crazy. Yeah. So after that, the wife couldn't handle being with me, so there was a divorce. Dad became depressed, obviously, and moved to a different house. And then apparently he claimed that this house, apparently in this house I'm living right now, he claimed that he bought this house. But everyone in his family is arguing that no, he didn't buy this house. We're housing him because we all chipped in to pay for this house.
Okay.
So I don't know who to believe, because I always usually believe my dad. But it does make sense that he was being housed by the family. So he was living upstairs at the time, and he got his love life is very interesting. He got another girlfriend after a couple months later. He met at a club, and then that girlfriend was a gold digger.
Yeah.
This girl was draining his money OD. Like she would stay for like a couple months and then go to Hong Kong. This man would follow her to Hong Kong, and he bought her an apartment in Hong Kong. That shit was crazy. Like, give me that money. Give me that money. I'm a kid. Put that money into my investment and my future. He's like, and I understand. Your love life is trash, but you gotta worry about the future, man.
I want to just say two things. First of all, this is CeroBlast going into his history and stuff. And I also want to say how important, like, all of this that we're talking about, look at how important mental health is. Like, imagine he would have got the help. Well, I mean, it's not that he didn't get help. Let's not say that he didn't get help. He got a lot of help. Yeah. But look at how, look at how your mental state can make or break anything. Like, it's just that quick, and all of a sudden he's just a different person, and boom, everything is gone. In a snap of your fingers, you know what I mean? Like, in a snap of your fingers, you know how much risk he probably take to hustle and do everything and anything he had to do, and for him to take it on a whim like that is just nuts.
I know, yeah.
Damn,
it's crazy.
But all right, yeah, man. I just wanted to throw that in there because it's like, if everything is, it's just how his mental state was. It was always the mental, always something like he flipped, he was angry, it just quick, like, damn. And then people don't want to put enough money in mental health research and shit like that. That's nuts.
No, it's crazy, man. He was hospitalized consecutively. Like, he had no breaks. Like, if I was stuck in the hospital like that, I would be pent up, man. Like,
I'll be pent up.
Like, you're caged in. You want to do stuff, right?
Right. But damn, and then I could understand, like you said, his love life was crazy too, because I guess that was like a kind of a cry scene, like he was alone. You know what I mean? For him to always just jump from woman to woman like that.
Yeah, his love life was garbage. I'm not gonna front. It was whack. The last one she was with, which was the one that had they got married and stuff like that. Like he fucked it up. Like the reason why he had this episode was because he neglected his medication because he wanted to change how he was taking his medication. So he opted out to do weed, and it was working for him. And then it did, and then eventually it stopped. It just happened randomly, and because he wasn't on antidepressants anymore, it eventually got to him.
Yeah, so he was on like he was smoking weed that would be like a depressant and antidepressants, like actual pills.
I mean, I don't know if it worked for him, but then it was working for a bit and then it stopped for some reason. I don't know. It could be maybe other multiple factors, like maybe taking acid or shroom that caused it, that triggered the effect. This man was doing everything, right? So when he was off the drugs, I mean the medication, like the antidepressants and all that stuff, it just really took over, and he wasn't able to be mentally stable anymore.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean.
So you gotta thank God every day, man. I don't know, whoever you believe in, Umbasa, the Loas, whatever you believe in, you gotta, thank it every day because
it's crazy because he had the mindset of thinking that, I have $1 million and some extra change and more. He thought he was set for life. Right. You're never set for life. $1 million is actually not that much if you guys believe it or not. Like it could be a milestone, but like you got to keep hustling. You got to keep making more money when you have the money, because you got to spend money to make money.
Right. Oh, you know about that. We're gonna get into that a little bit.
You got to spend money to make money. You gotta do your research. You gotta right. So. That's pretty much my background, man. Like 2 different family sides. Childhood was trash. Inspired to be a social worker. Right. Hopefully in the future, still wanting to do that. But I still got other goals I want to accomplish first.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah, before that, and that's the rundown, man.
I want to say much props to you when we move on. For going what you're doing, because a lot sometimes that could break someone. You could have been broken at that age and never really recover. It happens.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
It happens to a lot of kids. Or a lot of kids. I talk a lot about a lot of the times when I do these interviews or when I talk, a lot of kids don't grow up and have accountability for what they do. They always want to blame. Oh well, damn, my childhood was this and this and this and this. But at least I could, you look back and say, okay, well, this gave me this. You know what I'm saying? This gave me this, that I could do this. Instead of always trashing what happened, you look back at it. Okay, well, things happened. I understand why things might have happened certain ways. Okay, what can I do to make things better for myself? Or what have I learned that'll strengthen me that they didn't do that I could do differently? Like, just not making excuses. There's a lot of excuse making all the time, dude. And it's good that you're one of those few people that can say, yo, I might have had a shitty childhood, but that doesn't have to define me in a negative way as I'm getting older. I could turn these things into a positive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if you were ever abused physically from your parents, when you were a child, obviously when you have your own family, you want to take that experience and because you experienced it first time. You don't want to do that to your own child, right? Yeah, of course. Right. The success to the key to success is experiencing things. Right. If you don't have experience, you're never going to get anywhere.
Exactly.
Right. That's why you see all these top players winning all the time.
What
yeah. That's why you see That's why you see top players winning all the time.
Oh, right.
They got mad experience, right? So even if you're a prodigal or if you have mad talent and scene, like it doesn't mean
nothing unless you have the experience. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
And applying it too. You know what I'm saying? Applying.
Yeah. You could be so talented, but if you don't have the experience, you don't know how to work. You're not gonna. It doesn't mean much.
Right. So
you gotta hone and solidify the talent.
Right. So that's what. Since we get into that, let's segue into something more lighter, into your FGC. Like, what got you into it? What was the appeal to fighting games? Was that like some of the first games that you started to play, or was it just something that you looked like, I think I might be good at this? Or
No. So yeah, I mean, fighting games was actually the first game I started playing because ever since I was a kid, my first game was basically Rumble Fighter. It's basically an online fighting game where you play with 2D. It was interesting enough. It was a 3D based game where you move around 3D and you block and attack and do combos to your opponent, etc., etc. The game was really interesting because I was able to connect with so many people online. You build bonds with friends. It's crazy. Yeah. And I was like I was like a kid. I was like 11 and 12 at the time.
Wait. Yeah. So you were playing that game online at that age?
Yeah, I was playing that game online at that age. Yeah, but I not that game specifically. But if we're going way back, the first game I actually played was StarCraft.
Oh wow!
Because my dad was actually a gamer. Like my stepdad.
Yeah.
I would be like just sitting on the bed, just watching him play StarCraft. And he was actually like. He was mad nice. He was good. Like
those RTS games are pretty hard. I think RTS and fighting games are probably the hardest too.
Oh yeah,
that's you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was watching him play StarCraft. What else? He was playing Age of Empires.
I used to play that game.
What else was there? He was playing poker while I was watching. I was like, Dad, how come you didn't check that? How come you didn't fold that?
Oh, I was like, you were good at poker?
You learned him? He was like, shut up! I'm trying to play the game. I'm like, all right. It was just, and he was a pathway for me to become a gamer because I was watching him, and I want, and you learn, you see, monkey see, monkey do, right? I eventually started playing StarCraft, and then my mom would get mad because I was playing too much games, and you know how it goes, right, guys?
Definitely do.
There'll be times where I would be really scared to play in Dad's room because that's where mom and dad sleep. That room had a shit ton of spiders. And I was like, I'll be playing randomly on StarCraft, and then when I'm playing and I look down on the monitor on the keyboard, there's like two spiders on the keyboard. And I'm like, I scream like a girl, and I'm like,
hey Josh, what's up?
I literally got up from the desk and I ran. I closed the door. I said, Mom, there's a spider in your room. Please kill it. And then she's been probably doing her dishes or cooking and whatever. He's like, all right, I'm coming. So the mom comes to the room and looks for the spider, kills it. And then like, all right, you happy now? I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm like, I asked her, Mom, are you sure they're gone? Yes, I killed them. I'm like, okay.
Oh, good, dude. The spiders only came out when you came in the room. Like, oh, there he is again, baby.
Yeah. Nah, there'll be one every time. I said, that shit's crazy. But yeah, honestly, like it was because my stepdad, I was able to start playing games and take this pathway. Okay. StarCraft, and then I switched when we moved to the new apartment when I was like around 13 or 14. That's when I played Rumble Fighter, and then building bonds, learning more about other people, and I would come home from high school every day and just get on the computer and just start talking to friends.
Mm-hmm. So Rumble Fighter was the one where that's when you learned like the online community. That's how you gain like more friends.
Oh yeah, pretty much. Yeah, the game is basically a dumber down version of Tekken. There's no setups. It's just pure neutral. The options in that game are limited, but it's the same thing as any other fighting game. There's guessing, etc. Blah blah blah. And then eventually, when I was playing Rumble Fighter, and I was also playing League of Legends, right? So
you're playing League.
At the time when League of Legends first came out, I was addicted to the game because my friend introduced me to the game. So I want to get good at it, and it took me a couple seasons to get good, and eventually got somewhere. And then I really thought that I can make it big. I can if I take this game seriously. And I was just so consumed by it. Like there was too much pride on the line, and I tried to make something out of it. I almost did, and I eventually got on a competitive team to compete in other teams. It was so long ago, I don't even remember the team name. But I was not only the player on the team, but I was also a analyst / coach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so you had multiple roles for them.
Yeah, and you know, it was a good experience. You know, I was relocated in the States in a gaming house for a year, at least a year, getting paid some decent money. And you know, eventually the team disbanded because there's too much drama going on. And then headed back. I flew my ass back to Canada, and then, you know, went back. At this time, I was already living by myself. I was already done high school. I was 18, 19. Like, really fast forward, I was already, after high school, that's when everything went up for me. Because I wasn't able to pursue League of Legends at home because my mom wasn't supportive of what I was doing. So every time I was trying to play a game of League, and you know, my mom would be like, "Get off the game." I'm like, "Okay, mom, just give me 10 minutes. I'm in the game. Please don't unplug the modem, right? Don't unplug the internet." And she's like, "You know what? No, I'm tired of your shit." She walks into the room. She just pulls the cord. She's like, yank, and like I just start screaming, like I start crying, I start raging, and like I punch the fucking wall, and like I just lost mad. We were about to win the game. I just lost points for winning because the mom pulled the plug. And I had it. I couldn't take it anymore. So what I did was I had a lot of money saved up at the time because I was working in high school already. So you know, when we were young, we make stupid decisions. So I dedicated my life and my passion to League of Legends. So I every day when I wake up, I went to an internet cafe for a whole year, and I spent 10 grand on that internet cafe.
But to hone your skills, to hone your skills in League.
Well, pretty much, but you know, it's unfortunate I had to take this route.
Right, because she wasn't supporting.
And eventually, you know, it helped me got somewhere again. You know, I was on another team, worked out for a bit, team disbanded. You know, it's usually how it goes. Yeah. And then came back. So I got so tired of doing that. Like I was playing League. I was boosting people in League. I was elo boosting people in League. So I was making a lot of money on by doing that. I was making like $5 grand a month. Right. But eventually that wasn't consistent anymore because the game started getting bigger and bigger. And
they started cracking down. I think they cracked down on that a little bit.
They started cracking down, and so, you know, it wasn't very sustainable. So at this point, there was a wall, like there was a threshold. I didn't know what to do anymore. I was like, should I keep playing League competitively? Should I just give up and go casually and try something else? And you know what? At this time, you know, I switched over to fighting games afterwards because I was playing it on the side because my best friend, his name is Scooter, and
you're on the stream.
Yeah, he's literally he's my. I always say, you know, my second hometown is New York. I would go ever since high school. Every summer, I would go visit New York just to chill with Scooter.
Oh.
Yeah, and you know, his grandparents, you know, they love me, they miss me, and they think of me as their son too. It's crazy. And I literally, you know, sometimes people be asking me why do you talk like in a New York or Bronx accent? I'm like, it's because I literally adopted it. Like, I talk to Scooter on every day. That shit rubs off, you know, right? So it's like, you know, I can't do anything about it. You know? So,
wait, so you guys met through League? Or
we met through Rumble Fighter.
Rumble Fighter, okay.
I've known Scooter since I was 12, so that's why I've known him for 13 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That is so crazy that you say that real quick. Just give you a pause a little bit. Again, we're talking to CeroBlast. He's talking about now his gaming history. We're talking about, you know, his transition from learning from his pops, playing, you know, RTS games into fighting games, and how he met Scooter through online games. And it's so funny that you say that because I got a good friend too that I met through this game, this MMO. I don't know, you might not have heard of it, but it was called Star Wars Galaxies. Because I'm like super big in Star Wars. Like, you talk to me and we could talk lore and all that. We could talk for hours on Star Wars. So that's how I met him. And just to this day, he met my daughter. You know, I went to go see him out when he was out in Florida. I met, you know, the people he was living with and stuff. But it's just so crazy how people can, if you really think about the connections that you can make, and even though you don't see that person day to day, it could be stronger than some of the people that are around you that you see day to day. And people gotta really, you know, like capture that. Like, it's good that because it's a good example for other people. Like, yo, if you were with someone for 13 years, that's you invested in that person. You know what I'm saying? You should grow that, and it's cool that you did that and went out there and see them. That's really good.
Yeah.
Damn, that's cool, man. All right, man. So keep going, man. Keep going. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like I've known Scooter for like 13 years. It's
Wait, sorry, from Vancouver to New York, you would go from wow, damn, dude.
That was a 7-hour flight back and forth. Yeah.
Because I know you when you usually make the comparison, you usually say it's like for the West Coast. For us, it's like because that's around the same time frame.
Yeah. His, I remember the first time I flew down there, and I told Scooter's buddy, like, I'm coming through, we're gonna chill, we're gonna do all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I come through, I'm at the airport, it's like 7 in the morning. I told Scooter like a month ago, I'm gonna be arriving. You better be there. You better get granddad to pick me up. I land at the airport. I immediately text Scooter, yo, you there? I'm here. I landed on the airport. No reply.
Damn, he's nervous. It's like, this motherfucker was for
real. 30 minutes later, still no reply, and I'm like, oh, he probably sleeping. He was dead ass sleeping. This shit was crazy. Wow. He was dead ass sleeping. Like I don't know. And I kept messaging his friend. He's like, yo, he's dead ass sleeping. He left me stranded in the airport. He's like, and the buddy's like, yo, no. So let me try and wake him up. And he's like, so afterwards, after like 6 hours, your boy finally woke up, and I'm just sitting in the airport staring at my laptop, eating Subways and shit. And Scooter's like, yo, my bad.
That's it.
All right. He said, my bad. He's like, it's funny? I got so tight. He's like, my bad. I'm coming right now. He's like, all right, so when now? I said, yo, I'm coming. What time? Right now. Like, okay. Dude, so he shows up. So it's around 5 p.m. He shows up with his granddad. Granddad coming. The granddad's in the car. Scooter comes out of the car. I'm so hungry. I already had another Subways. I ate another Subways after 5 hours later. Right. I'm here ordering Subways. I'm getting a meatball marina.
Marinara, you mean?
Meatball marina. And Scooter comes behind me. He's like, oh, word, Josh. Oh, word, CeroBlast, meatball marina. And I'm like, what the fuck's that? Oh shit, it's Scooter. I was like, nah, fuck you. You fucking made me wait for like 6 hours. You fucking piece of shit. And
meatball marina.
Oh, and the subway clerk, she's like, damn, who is this guy? He's like, he's some loser. Don't I don't know him. This was back when I was like in my this was back after I finished high school or something. Right. So we were still mad young, but it was. I forgave him. It was mad funny. I got over it. It's whatever. Right. We hopped in the car. I met granddad. Granddad was hella chill, cool as fuck. They was housing me for the rest of the summer, so 3 months, and then I flew back. I would fly back in September, so I stood there for like maybe till July to September. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it was mad fun. Met the whole family. Everyone likes me. Everyone loves me. My granddad misses me. Granny, me and Granny are hella tight. I'd be buying her food. She's like, yo, Josh, when you coming back? I need food. Nah, but it's crazy. Like me and Scooter know each other's family because he actually came to my crib too.
Right.
Yeah, he came over when I turned 20. Yeah, he came over with his friend. I housed him here in his house for a couple of weeks, and then they got to learn about the family, and the one thing Scooter will never forget is that we got this Chinese roasted duck, and he's like, yo, that shit is godlike. He's like, I know you guys don't got that in Chinatown. Hold that out. Yeah. It's cool. Like I know for so he's literally my brother. Like I've known him for so long. Like we know each other inside and out. We know each other's habits. We know each other's weaknesses, strengths. Right. We know. Like I know everything about him.
That's
crazy,
cool, man. Damn, dude. Yeah. That's cool, man. It's cool to hear stories like that, man. Because there's like I said, you can meet a lot of good people, especially if you go out for so long. I'm telling you that like people don't really make that connection, and it's funny. That if you put in like I said again, I can say it again. You put in so much time into something, whether it's gaming, whether in community over online or whatever, you have to grow that. You should be growing things like that, because I mean, I don't know if you're at this age now, but I'm at this age now where my circle is very small. It's very small. You know what I'm saying? Like,
our circle is going to be mad small.
Yeah, and but the people that come into your life, and you got that good vibe, you got those good connections, and you gotta try to put some kind of effort into it, because it can be something, we see something bigger, even if it's from online or whatever. I want to also touch back on the support that your mom didn't give you when it came to the fight, when it came to gaming. It's so interesting that you say that, because I tell my daughter the same thing. I'm trying to tell her now, because we all grew up with that, the whole parents don't see gaming as a thing, because they probably they didn't have it at that time, or they were working too much. They don't see it as something that's going to be productive. And I always tell her, because she'll like, if she'll see me playing something, let's say, whatever, when I'm streaming or something, and she'll be like, oh well, that's only a game, what cut it off. And I'll tell you this much, she'll get that from her mom, and that's one of the qualities I didn't. And so I tell her, I take her to the side and I say, look, okay, you like to play Roblox, right? She said, yeah. So if I came to you and I said, that's a piece of junk, turn it off, or something like that, how would you feel? It's like, I feel bad. I want to, I like the game. So I said, that's the same thing that you need to think about when you talk to other people about something that you can't relate to. I said that because that's all it is. It's really just you not relating it to you, because it's not something that you're interested in. You always need to have respect for something that people are interested in that you may not be, and have the respect that if they're putting their time into it, it's important to them. So and then I tell her, I love you, right? So I have to respect and love the things that you love, because I love you. So and as an extension of you, I have to respect that. So it's the same thing that you need to do for other people. I said, because there's gonna be a time when you get older, and it can make or break certain things for you in your life. You have to just she's like, okay, how little kids are, and you talk too much and stuff like that. But I'm trying to you try to mold them from the experiences that you had, because it was the same thing. Why don't you get your ass a job, a real job, and get you somebody to stop playing these games? So I would say, because I always think back, and I was in my earlier years, I was like really like Street Fighter was my first game. I used to play it out in the arcades out here. I don't know if you ever came out here and played Street Fighter out here in the arcades. Mm-hmm. And I remember, because I tell a lot of stories from people that are OGs. I can say the only real OGs from my time would be probably out here. What's his name? Forget his name. He commentates now. Yipes. Yeah. He out of OGs like him probably, and I don't. You probably don't know, but like Triforce, like those dudes that are like about my age. People used to get beat up in arcades just because it used to get so crazy. You would get into fights if you put your quarter up, because that's how I used to go. You used to put your quarter, I got next, and then people used to put their quarters up online, and you would get into fights because people, that's my quarter. How am I supposed to know that's your quarter, dude? And then people used to come outside and it used to fight. That's and it used to be crazy back out there. So I was like, a lot of people know how that used to be, and how the game scene changed a whole lot, because people would just fight because you grabbed them. Like it used to be back in the day, if you grab somebody, you will scrub and let's fight. That's how bad it was back. I'm telling you, FGC. That's why when you see how crazy. Now, like everybody gets really, really scared in the community when they get bad press, because they know how it used to be. It used to be way worse than just maybe altercation here, punch it. I remember. It used to be real bad. So that's why I'm just it used to be anyway. It used to be crazy, but I think I jumped off on a tangent there.
I know what you mean. But we back to Rumble Fight. It was technically my first online game that I actually took seriously for fighting games. If we want to be really OG, when I was in high school, my first fighting game was Marvel vs. Capcom 1.
Oh my god, that was a good game in arcades too.
I was an MVC player at the time, and people will be actually. I eventually got good at the game. People will be lining it up behind me to fight me. And I was playing what, Ryu and Wolverine, like.
Oh yeah,
I would just beat people, and that shit was crazy, And people get so mad at me, and they would try to they got so mad that they would try the person that's fighting me. He would press the start button on my side, and when you press the start button on my side,
it brings up the character, doesn't it?
No, it makes the character taunt.
Oh,
yeah. So I'm like, what the hell, man? We're just playing the game. He's like,
I ain't do that shit out here because you do that, you know what was happening.
So I stopped playing MVC1 there after high school, and then we eventually migrated over to Rumble Fighter, and then League of Legends, and then funny enough, Scooter used to play MVC1 as well. So I was like, there's no way you can beat me. I'll body your ass, right? So at the time, we was playing GGPO. That's when GGPO came when we were during our high school years. It's basically an online client where you can download ROMs and play old ass fighting games. So the games we would play would be what we play. I think we played Third Strike. Third Strike was my main game afterwards. But then MVC1 I would body him free every time. And then eventually he started practicing, and then we were running sets back and forth. Now he's like, bitch, you can't beat me anymore." I'm like, all right, whatever. so the third strike, he actually never stood a chance, but he's gonna tell you otherwise if you ever ask him. Yeah, he's always gonna make shit up. But it's whatever. And then from Third Strike to Street Fighter 4. I was always playing Ken and Third Strike. I played all the Shotos. I played Sean, I played Ryu, Akuma, Ken. Sean was like my most favorite Shoto, so I was like, you know what, I want to play Sean.
Okay.
And then Street Fighter 4 didn't have Sean, so I was playing Ryu and Ken.
Yeah, okay.
I actually didn't like them, so I played Guy in 4. And I didn't really take it seriously. I played 4 for like a month or two. It was just me and Scooter and some other online people. And then fast forward, even till then, when I was playing 4, I was still playing League of Legends. And at this time, I really lost purpose in what I want to get into, because I'm born a gamer. I'm a full-fledged gamer. I want to compete. I want to compete in something. At this time, I kind of lost my sense of direction. Did I still want to keep playing League, or do I want to get a shot at at a fighting game? So when I heard Street Fighter 5 was going to come out, he's like, "Oh, let's play that game." So
wait, Scooter said this. He said, "Let's play this game."
No. When I
said that to yourself.
Yeah, I said that to myself when I saw Street Fighter. When I saw that Street Fighter 5 was going to come out, let me play this game, right? So, when the game first came out, I was playing Ryu. So the history behind that is that Ryu was always one of my favorite, literally my go-to character in most fighting games.
Wow, that's interesting. You would think when you look at your stream now, you would think that you will always love Ken the way you put that.
Well, that's the play style that Ken has, and I can understand that play style. Okay. So with Ryu, I try to be. I don't know. With Ryu, I try to incorporate that same play style with what Ken has, and it worked. It worked. So I kept trying to do it, and then eventually I hit a wall when I was playing Ryu back in the days. I figured maybe I should play Ken, and I guess I've always been a Ken player. Right? So, but yeah.
Let me stop you right there, because I want kind of people to hear this that are fighting game people, because it's a good example on, I guess maybe not only Street Fighter 5 and the way maybe you should also think about the way that your play style is. Maybe finding a character that fits your play style, because I feel, and I was thinking about this not too long ago, that I think Street Fighter 5, more so than comparing it to, like, let's say Street Fighter 4, is more of a flowchart-y game, in the sense that you can't really step outside the realm of the character too much. So an example would be to say, in Street Fighter 4, you could play Ken neutral heavy to an extent, because you are allowed to do that with the game. But with this game, he's very limited in that extent, in playing a good a good neutral compared to people that are supposed to excel in the neutral game. Like, you could see the the discrepancy in that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you? So you agree? Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree, 100%.
So that's why you made the switch, because you saw the wall with Ryu that you couldn't go as, let's say, rush down as you would have liked to.
Yeah, Ryu doesn't provide that same rush down.
Right.
That's why I was like, okay, well, this makes it easier, so let me just try out Ken. Right? So, but the main reason why I switched over to Ken was because I got bodied by a Ken player when I was playing Ryu. I was like, that shit was free as fuck. Let me play Ken. Right? So I was really inspired. So yeah, I that's how I started playing Ken. But yeah, I played Ryu for a bit, and I wanted to. I was really competitive at it. Like I wanted to get somewhere with it. So usually Scooter is usually on tags along on the ride, and gets in the same sense. But at this point in the timeline, Scooter was already not interested in competing anymore.
But is it like season 1, season 2-ish?
Yeah, season 1, like when the first came out fresh. This was at the point when Scooter was like kind of rock bottom on interested in competing into games and more of just playing games on a casual side. Because he was a competitive Halo player, but yeah, he was actually so good that he could have been in it. Went to MLG.
Oh wow!
But he was gatekept by his grandparents, because his grandparents were like, "You're too young. We don't want you to be playing games. We don't want to send you off there." Blah blah. Right? So it's unfortunate, and I understand why he would be kind of like scarred to pursue that same path again. Right? But I hope he can find that same spark to get competitive. But if he doesn't, then it's whatever. But yeah, it's just he started tagging along. We were playing here and there. Eventually, he couldn't beat me anymore. And then
did you put more time into it? I guess.
I was putting mad time into the game, right? So, one day, one day when I was playing Street Fighter V and when I was around platinum level with Ryu, I wanted to venture out to my local area and see if there's any other Street Fighter V players, right? Because I was using keyboard at the time, so I was advertising myself as a keyboard player. And, at this time I had like a wake up call, because I literally had no friends. I had friends, but like I don't talk to them anymore. It's just acquaintances.
What was it? Do you feel like it was because you put so much into Street Fighter that you kind of like put yourself in that bubble?
No, I just had no social media presence.
Oh, you mean? Oh, okay. I know. Okay, now I get it. Right.
Yeah, I just had no connections. I had no social media presence. I didn't have that many friends to talk to. So I was like, what the fuck do I do? How do I get in touch with people, right? So, funny enough, I typed in Vancouver local meetups, and the first thing that popped up was meetup.com. And I was like, what the fuck? So there's a group of people that want to meet up and shit. I was like, oh shit. So I typed in fighting games, right? And the first thing that popped up was a bar, and I was like, oh, a bar has fighting games, and it was basically a gaming bar. So it's called EXP bar or something like that. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's check. I'm gonna go check it out and see if there's anyone that plays Street Fighter, and I wanna showcase my skills, right? I brought my keyboard with me, and the first time I went there, the owner was there. He plays Ken. And yeah, and at this time I was still
for you, man. I don't know what it is.
At this time I was still playing Ryu, so I'm at the bar, right? I got my backpack behind me, and my keyboard's in my backpack. I got my adapter with me too.
Oh, okay, cool. That's what I was gonna say. So put that in it.
Yeah, so I look for the setup, and then I ask around, is there any Street Fighter going on? He's like, is there a meetup? And then the bartender's like, yeah, just go down there and talk to the guy in the white hat. I'm like, hey, so are you the guy that hosts the Street Fighter stuff? He's like, yeah, I do. He's like, are you? But I'm not gonna play because I don't think you can beat me.
It's like, what?
I'm like what? I'm not. I'm like, okay, let's play then. Let's do first 3. Right. He's like, okay. He's like, where's your controller? He's like, I don't need one. I'll just use a keyboard to beat your ass. And then he's like, excuse me, you use a keyboard? You definitely gonna lose. I'm like, okay. So I plug so I plug in my keyboard, right? And we did. And he's like, we did first to 3. And then he tells me, if you win this, food and drinks are on me. And I'm like, okay, all right.
Damn. Wow.
I'm like, damn, all right. So, anyway, I picked my signature color, Ryu, red color, and he picks Ken, and then we play first to 3. I beat him 3-0 in 3 minutes.
Damn, dude.
In 3 minutes. Each game was 1 minute, and he just looks at me. He's like, oh wow, you know how to play this game. You trying to hustle? He's like, you trying to hustle people or some shit? He's like, no, man,
right.
I'm just here to play. This is your fault. You're talking shit.
Right.
He's like, all right, I guess food and drinks are on me. And then suddenly a whole crowd. There's a couch behind me, and then there's like 6 people sitting on the couch. They all got up and lined up to start fighting me.
Okay. Yeah, that reminds me of the good old days, huh?
Yeah. And it's like, yo, let me get next. Yo, next. Yo, can I get next? And then I just kept beating people left and right. There was this one particular player I was fighting. He was playing Bison, and he almost beat me. He was actually the closest to beat me, but I beat everyone in that entire bar. So obviously this kind of sparked confidence in me. And then the Bison player that talked to me, he's like, you're actually really good and you should join the local community. He's like, oh, you guys have another local community? He's like, yeah, it's called Vancouver Street Battle. He's like, this is the only it's the only community that hosts multiple games, right? So he's like, okay, I'll go. Like, who's the best in Vancouver? He's like, because my mindset is I always want to be the best. Right, the best there is. I want to be rank 1, the best. If I'm not rank 1, I'm fucking trash. Right. Yeah. If I'm not rank 1, I gotta look at myself in the mirror and say, you're fucking trash. You're actually trash. Right. And so and he told me, he's like, oh, the best in Vancouver right now is Air Kenny.
Oh, I remember.
Air Ryu from Street Fighter 4, right? Yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay. I think I've heard of him before, right? And then I was like, okay, so we set up an appointment to go to the venue next week, right? So I fast forward, we go there next week, and then I was gonna money match him first to 5 for $100.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
And the first time you see me, you're gonna be like, I'm money matching this dude.
Yeah. It was like I was like, you know what? I think I'm so nice. I got ahead of myself. I think I was so nice that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna money match him.
Right.
If I beat him, that means I'm godlike, right? So. Right. So I got nervous because there's everyone from there's like 30 people in the venue. Everyone was watching. I was like, what the fuck? There's mad people here. And then, anyways, so we was playing on the PS4 setup, right? And then it was a head-to-head setup. And I was playing him, and then I was up 3-0, and then he just came back and he just I think he was sandbagging me or some shit. Like he beat me free 3-5 afterwards.
Damn.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, I guess I lost my $100. and then I can tell everyone else was picking on me because after I went to play casuals, the people would walk to me and say like, hey, you want a money match? You want a money match?
Shit. Like, I just lost all my coin. Man, get out of here with that.
And I was like, yeah, sure, let's money match. And then I lost like $20 here and there, and it's funny because till this day, I still remember the story, like how they told me that when we set up that money match, Air knew I was free because I was just an online warrior. and then it's funny because he admitted to this. He's like he told everyone in the venue, he's like, yo, go money match him, it's free, take his money. And I'm like, oh damn, all right, it's like that. And then fast forward now, I'm actually the best in my city,
right, because I remember you beat Air
yeah.
I think it was in a bar or something like that, right?
Something like that, yeah. But I'm consistently the best in my city, so there's no argument about that. But
that's definitely a lot. I want to pick on this. So all right, so let's pick some of this out, right? So first, again, this is Cero. We talking about his history on Street Fighter. He was actually a Ryu player, y'all. For those of y'all that don't know, imagine that. You look at this dude. You look at him now. If you would just catch his stream now, you think he'd be playing. He was loving Ken for the whole duration, and he's a bandwagon jump on Ken. he loved Ryu first, man. Ryu was his first true love, man. So, okay, so let's go back to the money match thing, because me personally, I was bringing this up. I believe with somebody out here when we went to one of the barcades or something like that. So we, because I was like, I personally don't really like the money match. And I think it's just more because of my history with Street Fighter. Remember what I was telling you, like how I grew up with history. Like, you try to do as least as possible to get into a fight, and I feel like putting money on the line is like the biggest thing. So for you were easy to throw the money. So how do you feel about money match now? Like from your experiences with it.
Money matching, if anyone wants a money match, I'm down to money match. It's funny enough, if you money match someone, it helps you provoke that same tournament experience, and with that experience, you can use that experience to understand what you're feeling when you're fighting someone in a money match. Because you're probably like when you're fighting someone in a money match, the things you'll feel is probably nervousness or your heart racing, so you get anxiety. Your heart is beating too fast. You get adrenaline rush. All these feelings impact you in tournament. So if you can navigate, palms are sweaty, knees, arms are sweaty. So you know how it is, right? So if you can manipulate these feelings and use and understand when you feel them and how to control them, or let them know how to let them take its toll, and it'll help you do better in tournament.
That's good. That's a good thing to really put out there. Yeah, like I said, from my experience, that's why I was kind of against it, but I could definitely see it from you. And I gotta kind of get out of that mindset of the whole, what the FGC used to be and what it is now. Like I said, it has come a long way, and I think it's just some of the stigmas that I have with the way it used to be. And that's why I don't really like the money match too much. I mean, I'm not a betting man usually, so I think that's also another reason why I wouldn't do it. That's not my thing. But that's a good example of taking a positive out of something that might be considered a negative. Like betting may be considered a negative, but what you take out of it is the experience from it. Like we always say, experience is what.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Playing casuals is also another good thing. But if you play too long in a set with somebody in the casuals, that's when it gets a little bit ridiculous, because at that point you're not playing the game, you're playing the player, which is fine. But then you're gonna be but then you're gonna get too used to that, and you will your subconsciousness will habitually adapt slower when you're playing in tournament, because you've already warmed up yourself to expect subconsciously longer interactions with your opponent. When you're trying to mix up your opponent, when you're trying to do something with your opponent,
So what would be an example of, you would say, like so let's say because I mean let's take two things from that, right? Tournament play, we know it's maybe a 2 out of 3 set. So what is the mentality that you think you feel like you should go into that versus when you're going into a longer set? Obviously, you need to have, for a longer set, more stamina.
In longer sets, it's also about stamina, but it's also changing your strategy when you need to. Right. You have to know when to shift gears. You have to know when to change your play style. But the most important part is never let your opponent figure your strategy out. The moment when your opponent figures your strategy out, that's when you have to change it. If you don't change it, you're gonna get behind in the set and you're gonna lose. That's the thing with playing in a long set, though. If you get too used to that, then you get too used to planting seeds here and there and planting traps here and there in your strategy, that you might have a subconscious habit of doing that in tournament 2 out of 3.
Right.
And that can happen, and because if you do that, all I'm trying to say is if you play in a longer set, it's harder for you to adapt faster when you're playing a shorter set.
Okay, so in the shorter set now, let's go into that. What are the qualities you feel like you need to have? What are maybe the mindset that you think you feel like you should go in the shorter set?
In the shorter set, the strategy should be to obviously the strategy is to find out what your opponent wants to do, always, right? But the one thing I really notice is that with a lot of top players is that they show you their strategy first, and then they give you this element of surprise at the end that you'll never expect, right? It's either like a shimmy or an overhead or whatever. Those are the things that they always go for, because they know you're not expecting it, and that comes from experience, right? So in a shorter set, you don't want to show all your tricks and the stuff that that will work. You want to show them later, right? Try and focus on the basics of the game and the generalistics of the game first, and see how far that carries you out in the game. And hopefully it carries you out to the first game, and then you can close it out with an element of surprise.
Okay. Because so like I want to, like, I'll bring an example. So let's say I'm watching your stream, and I would say, let's say majority of the time, if you're fighting somebody, I say, to me personally, it looks as if you're trying to troll them first, because you want to exact some kind of reaction from them to see how they react to what you're doing to them. And then let's say they So a perfect example would be if you're fighting a Geef player. I notice you'll do like the Tatsu to see if they know how to punish because it's -4. So they should be doing a command grab. So, but if they don't do that, oh shit, they don't notice. So you'll keep abusing it until you see them.
Yeah, you just keep.
So, like, is that usually like the general strategy for you? You'll troll somebody or try to see what they know.
You just see what you can get away with, and you just go from there.
Okay.
Well,
that's cool.
Pretty much it. Yeah, that's how it is with fighting. Is like you just see what you can get away with, and go from there, right? Because fighting games are the same thing as how you would take it as when you're fighting someone in person or in boxing match or UFC or whatever. Both of you don't know what you're. Both of you are just learning. You don't even know who your opponent is. You don't know who. You don't even know them. You don't know their background. You don't know who they are, and like. You don't know what they know, right? So exactly. So it all comes from interaction because fighting is another form of language. So you can just based on the interactions, like when punching him and rushing him down, like you can feel what they feel, like what they want to do.
Right.
If you can grasp that language and transfer it into fighting games, that's how you can really start leveling up your game.
Right. It's funny that you say that. What's going on? The Choten? He said I knew it. I guess he knew that. That's how you like to troll people. Oh man, but what I was it's funny that you say that because I don't know, you probably don't know, I'm into martial arts. I've been doing it since I was 9, and I usually I try to make the comparison when I'm talking about fighting games. I say it's like spacing. You throw a jab, and the jab is really your marker. It's to see where they are as a comparison to you and what you can hit them with. So if you know that they're right outside the jab range, either they can't hit you unless they step in. Or you can hit them with maybe the 2, which is the cross, or something. There's a lot of it's a lot of similarities to fighting games as compared to just like you said.
And some people can't understand it. They're just there to play the game.
Right. Yeah, that's another thing. They don't make the comparison, or they don't try to make it relatable. I think that's the biggest divide with people that can't get to that certain levels of fighting games, is that they can't make the connection to what's going on. So let me ask you another question, because I've been thinking about this for a while. So let me put it from my perspective. So I've stopped playing Street Fighter 5 online, and mostly the reason is because I noticed that in myself I was complaining a lot about the network connection, because it really gets me upset, because it's never been something like, to me, it's never been to something to this extent, right? So
that's crazy.
so for me, but I got to a point where I noticed something. I was like, look, I have to do one or two things. Either I shut the fuck up and I play it the way the game is going to be played and stop making excuses and adapt to the lag and know what's going to happen, or don't play it. So I took the latter and not to play it, because I was getting so frustrated. But because I know, you experience it all the time, and every time I watch it, like, I'm looking at it as I'm watching your stream, and I'm just like, yo, I can't believe he can play through this. What was it like? How did you get to that point where it's just like, it seems like just another day for you? Like, you could play 24 hours and play 24 hours Street Fighter and get more than about 16 hours of it is lag, and you just do it the same face. It's just all good. I don't know how you do that.
It's not all good. You see me raging this. That shit get me wrecked. So I fucking fight Brazil people. I shouldn't be fighting people from Brazil. That shit's crazy. Like,
but when you could. So I know it does affect you at some point, but you get through it. Like, you're not constantly complaining the whole time. Like, you just. You'll say, but whatever, you just keep doing it, you just keep playing hard, and I don't know, me, it would break me, like, it breaks me, like, I'm just like, I guess, because, you know what I mean, I don't know.
I know what you mean, and it's a very easy answer. It all comes back to experience, it's all, and it's the way of how you learn and how you handle things in life. It's, for me, the way I learn, again, is I learn by literally failing. I learn by failing and adapting afterwards. I have to handle the hardship. I have to handle the experience of failing in order to adapt and be successful.
Right.
That's how I learn. I learn through applied learning. I learn by attacking everything first. I don't care. I just dive in. I learn it. If I fuck up, I fuck up. I remember next time. That's how I learn.
Right.
And the other thing I learn is, I learn by repeatedly grinding, repetition. That's how I did in League. I would stay up 24 hours, even 40 hours a day, just to boost people or play League, just because I was trying to achieve a certain rank.
Right.
You know, and you know, trust me, League of Legends is more intoxicating, and it's more toxic than me playing Street Fighter right now. I have to depend on 4 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just me playing that game is just way more toxic than Street Fighter.
It is.
You think I'm toxic in Street Fighter 5? I'm fucking more toxic in League of Legends. Straight the fuck up. So there's that. So even and just me complaining and raging on Street Fighter 5, that's just me from past experience from League of Legends. That's way worse. But you know, I'm used to it. You know, I'm used to all this bullshit. I'm used to all this whatever. You know, you just gotta go. You gotta go through it. You gotta it's whatever, right? So it's just repetition of grinding, and just I know for a fact I'm gonna complain, but you know what? I'm gonna keep playing the game, because what else do I gotta do? What else can I do, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, like I said, dude, there was you know, once I made that realization, you know, unfortunately, I said, you know, I'm gonna take a little break from it, because at the same time too, you know, I'm not you know, as strong of a player as you. So when I play the game, there's a lot more going through my head, in the sense, because I know what I want to learn. And I feel like when that variable comes through with that lag, I feel like it halts my learning process on what I'm trying to learn. And I think that was what kind of pushed me back and got me to the point where I was just like, nah.
Yeah, but like I said, everyone learns differently. We have to understand, you know, what is the best way to learn. Right. What's our best learning style, and you know, how, you know, just use, like, are you a apply learner? You know, are you a repetition learner? You know, there's just try and incorporate that into your games, and not just fighting games, but just games in general, right? That's how you learn. You know.
Yeah, I think
the way I learned was, you know, my other main technique of learning is, you know, I watch how people incorporate. I watch how other people interact, and I try and copy that, and, you know, recycle that into my own uniqueness. That's another way of how I learn.
Yeah.
So me repeatedly watching Momochi, other Ken players online, you know, those are resources that can help you hone your talent, or hone your whatever you want to do.
Right, your skill. Yeah. It's true that it's good that you say that, because that's one of my modes of learning, and I noticed also, as from getting, like, again, martial arts, a group setting is my best. Like, I'm sure you see martial arts classes, you know, they got a bunch of people or whatever, you know, a bunch of people sparring, they'll rotate and stuff like that. So I noticed that I used to thrive in that, because we would all come together, and also we had a group, so we would kind of, oh, you know, this is what you was doing, you know, this is what you were doing, I noticed this, oh yeah, I noticed this about you, oh yeah, we could. And I noticed that, I guess maybe more, not only did I thrive with that, I'm used to that kind of setting. And I noticed maybe I didn't get to that level in Street Fighter because I didn't have that access to that. So like you said, everybody gets better in their own ways, and they have to realize what that is. I guess since you play League, you understand the group setting, but you also know how to put it in and do your own solo grind. So in fighting games, it's a lot of it is a solo grind.
Yeah.
So he was able to learn that way. So that's cool. That's interesting. But yeah, when I see you and I'm like, how can this guy play 24 hours of swimming, dude? My man is a rubber band, and I'm just like, oh my god,
that's crazy,
dude. That's why when you see me in the chat, sometimes I always ask him like, yo, how's the lag in here? Because I'm like, yo, for you to be playing this song, it gotta be great. But not same shit. I'm like, oh my god, it gets me. I'm upset for you. And I'm just watching.
You upset for me?
I'll be mad.
You upset for me? You don't think I'm upset? That shit's crazy.
Jesus, dude, I'll be so mad, dude.
Yeah, but that's how it is. You know, the player base is really low, because if I'm playing 24 hours, you know, people who's gonna play at 4 a.m. You know,
right.
Brazil, Mexico, Russia, whatever. Fine, I'll fight them, right? You know. And the funny thing is, they be accepting the match. I don't get it. Why?
I don't know, man. They probably in the same boat. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. They're like, dude, I'm trying to get me something, dude.
That's true.
And I think I find it so that will lead me into this next. How do you feel? Like, how do you feel the state of fighting games are at this point?
In general, or
yeah, in general, like as a general. And then I guess if you want, you could you know, categorize it with the different games like Street Fighter.
I don't think I need to subcategorize it.
Okay.
I think just in general, fighting games are heading in a positive direction.
Okay.
Even though we all are aware that the FGC is poverty. It's actually
comparatively to the other esports out there. Definitely.
The other esports, but it's still considered esports, right? So, with the new games coming out, it does spark a bit more hope and hype into the esports FGC community. We got Soul Calibur coming out. We got Lethal League Blazer coming out. We got Smash Ultimate coming out. So those games alone enough can definitely provide more growth in the esports FGC community. And Street Fighter 5 is getting another update, so there's that to hope for.
Right. They said they're reducing the lag.
The lag reduction in season 4 is actually going to be a lot of changes. So there'll be apparently a new game or something like that. Yeah, and I think it's heading in a good direction. How would I reference it? I would reference it as maybe we're still in a adoption phase. We're still at that part where when hard drives are like $1,000 or whatever, right? So
for 100 gigs or something.
But because we're in a new generation where companies are expanding and adapting always so fast. Eventually casinos will eventually jump into the esports scene as well. So casinos all over the world, so far in Canada here, some casinos here are actually supportive of esports communities. So they do try to host their own tournaments.
So you mean to understand? So do you mean like I forget what it's called, but it's like that that those online betting communities where they bet on like MMA or they bet on football games or sports games? You talking about things like that? Like that's where you think is heading?
No. Like actual casinos investing into the esports.
Community. Just there. Okay. Just there. Okay.
Yeah, they have their maybe they might have their own. They might even have their own organization, but they're more of investing into other established esports industries, and that's for casinos. So that's already a huge step for esports in general. Esports in general overall, I think that's going to expand as the years pass by because I call this like last year, like within the next year or even the years coming or so. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I told so many people about this. You should look into it more and invest into companies with that are going to get into esports. Usually people don't believe me; they think I'm crazy. And it's funny enough. Esports is blowing up. You fucking hear esports all over the place. You hear esports at your work. You hear esports at a restaurant or even at work or wherever you are. You hear it. You hear it. I promise you. You'll hear it at least once a day, if not within a week. You'll hear it. Right. If you are part of the movement, if you're just your normal daily average life worker 9 to 5, obviously they're not gonna know. Obviously they don't know about it, but they've heard of it.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it's moving in a good direction. Hopefully it keeps going up. But
what would you? Okay.
No, go on.
I was gonna say what. So specifically now for Street Fighter, what do you feel like if you could put your own critique, if Capcom came to you and said, "Yo, Cero, what would you like? How would you want us to move this game, or what would you like us to do for this game to get it to where it would be the best game it could be?" What would you tell them?
Well, the balance changes are unreasonable in this game, and coming from a League of Legends standpoint, I am a big fan of really understanding how balance changes work in League of Legends. Some of the balance changes in League of Legends are just ridiculous and they don't make any sense. But at least every time when they release a balance change, the developers leave a note saying why they did this. Capcom doesn't do that. They just release the balance changes and then that's it. They don't to your own devices. they don't explain anything. They don't. You know what's crazy? And there's hidden balance changes too. You find these weird balance changes that they don't even mention in the patch notes. Right. And the other stupid thing is they mention the balance changes, but it actually doesn't relate to the game. It's still, like let's just say, for example, they said that we fixed Ibuki and Zeku's wake up timing. They still the same thing. They still the same thing. You said what? You said you fixed that. They still the same thing. Hello, what? Right? Like, if you get a mention patch no changes, at least say that, oh, it's working now.
Right.
Don't just say.
At least make sure it's working,
or at least tell us what did you guys change in the patch notes. Don't just leave us like hanging. Like, come on, like, you know, we support your game. You know, we should be given that opportunity to know what you guys are doing.
And I want to touch on that point because I think that's a very good point that you said. So I think the difference is because a lot of people want to say would argue the fact that, okay, well, fighting games never been a thing where, you know, they used to put out the game and you just used to have to take it, right? Like, that's it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think what the big change is that, okay, but because they're changing the dynamic of what they want the game to be. They want it to be an esports game, right? They really put a lot into promoting the online community and how it can, you know, grow into going into tournaments and things of that nature. So it's like kind of saying you opening the floodgates to have more people invest in your game. So now, if we're investing in your game, we have a right to get what we want and say what we want change. Like we should have that voice and we should be heard. And I think that's a very like a disconnect. I think with
Capcom.
Well, yeah, with Capcom, because I think it's like they're in that stage where the older school people, I guess, that maybe have worked on the game or older school mindset of Capcom was just like, yo, we put out games and you gotta eat it. But it's like, you can't do that anymore.
It's a different generation. You have to adapt to change.
Right.
It's just the way it works. Like, if you don't adapt to change, you're gonna get left behind.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
And surprisingly, the only people that are playing the game is just top players that are playing Street Fighter 4. That's it.
Right.
And then, you know, if those players keep playing those games, obviously they're going to attract new players because new players are going to be like, oh, I'm so inspired. I'm watching Momochi. I'm watching Daigo.
But they might not keep them.
I want to just
keep those players.
Yeah, I just want to be like Daigo or Momochi. So you know, they start playing the game and start. And, you know, inspiration sparks jealousy. Right. So
that's a good quote. And put that CeroBlast. Yeah. Unless you got that from somebody else, or you.
No, I got that from someone else.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good quote. That was a good quote.
It was a good one.
Yeah, but like I said, it's like if Capcom can step up their game and like act like it as a actual esports, like adapt to the esports change, they will be in a better direction, right? So I mean, Ono stepped off, and the new guy is now in charge. So you know, hopefully we'll see.
So who stepped off?
Ono, the head director, he stepped off. Yeah, he tweeted out. He's still part of Capcom, but he stepped off the
development of the
development. Yeah, the direction of the game.
Right. It's interesting. Maybe that was a good. I mean, like he's been doing it for so long. Maybe they need a new perspective. Maybe they knew somebody with a.
Maybe they need someone new. Yeah. But I'm telling you, like, you know, they really need to step up because, you know, with these other games coming, like let's just take let's just take all these new Royal games coming out, like COD, like the new COD game that come out. It's crazy. Like every game coming out now is gonna have some sort of battle royale aspect. Because that's the trend.
It is. It's true.
And eventually, League of Legends is gonna make their own battle royale game. It's only a matter of time. I can already see it coming because there's already one right now. So you know, if you're gonna make a game or you're gonna update your game, it needs to follow the trend. If it doesn't follow.
Oh yeah, sorry. I just want to know how do you feel? Yeah, that they can follow that trend with a fighting game. How do you think that?
How they can follow a trend?
Yeah, because I mean,
just follow. Oh, I mean, like just follow the same direction as they're heading. Like, you know, just most of the microtransactions come from costumes. I understand that. You know, everyone has Chun-Li costumes, Minot costumes, whatever. You know, all your waifus and shit, and the way with games, the esport games are right now is that there's so much money on the line. There's so much tournaments going on weekly basis. Capcom has that too, but they need to open up to having more esports industries jump in on Capcom. I mean, they need to have a way to promote themselves to tell them that, hey, you know, we have a game here that is, you know, potentially esports worthy and it can get really big. We just need more people to dump in the money in the game. Right. So I don't know how they would promote it, but they would have to think of something.
So it's funny. Okay, so because I remember having a conversation and I asked a few people, you know, more, I asked a bunch of people. I even remember messaging on Twitter what's the guy from Canada Cup? What's the dude's name that
Lapchi?
Lapchi. I remember asking him a question. I said, I think that what needs to be done is they need to start moving away from just console gaming and try to implement PC in there in some kind of way. Everybody would bash him. Yeah, that's the worst idea, and blah blah blah. And I was getting into, and I'm like, dude, relax. I was like, first of all, let's look at this from a broader perspective. What's the thing that we're not doing? We're not promoting, and we're not getting anything from the PC market. We're not getting people like like brands that are
the PC market is way huger.
Yeah, it's way huger. Yeah,
it's way huger. And but the issue is Sony is sponsoring,
right.
So they have to use their consoles. Yeah. It's part of their contract.
And I think that was probably not like maybe not their biggest mistake, but I think when they limited themselves to just that, kind of screwed them over a little bit. And maybe with the next iteration of the game, maybe they could, because I think, I mean, I don't know how you feel about it, but I think, a lot of people want to complain and say, well, for tournaments, it's going to be, crazy. But I said, dude, you have to try it and then work your way into.
I mean, they don't even have to do anything. They just have to partner with other PC companies like Gigabyte, Asus, whatever, any other technology company that's already established in esports. They just have to reach out to them, or or if those companies have already reached out to Capcom, look at the contract, look at their offer, and they probably want to promote some PC products or PC whatever to play Street Fighter 5. And that would be great for everyone, because then we won't complain about lag.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know, people are so resistant to it. So I was watching. Do you watch Avoiding the Puddle at all, Aris? Do you ever watch his stream?
I watch Aris.
So I remember he was having a conversation about this too, and I was thinking about it. He said, that that he feels like a lot of it is tournament organizers where they don't want to put in the money to use the PCs because of how expensive it is and everything, and it's understandable. But at some point in time, somebody has to take the risk. Yeah. Like, why would a PC company give money to you if you're not playing on a PC so that you can show off the brand?
Right.
It's just like you can't have it. You can't have it both ways. You can't want investors but not take the risk to get the investors.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, your investment. You do investment. I mean, am I like out of the norm? I mean, somebody has to take the chance, or somebody has to.
Well, when you're investing in general, you have to weigh out the risk versus the rewards. Right. If the reward is higher and the risk is lower, it's very optimal to take that opportunity.
Right.
However, if that risk is very high but the reward is very high or low, this is up to you to decide if you want to take that opportunity or not.
Right.
And usually, most oftentimes, you don't want to, because it doesn't give enough reward, or there's just too much risk involved. Right. So generally, anything that's high reward and low risk is very optimal.
Right. So because it's fun, so again, when I asked the question to Lapchi, he said I would have only PC games be on the main stage. I mean, a PC setup be on the main stage, and all the rest of the ones in the background will be the consoles. But I said I think that's a good start, because it'll show the PC market, hey, look, we use PC, we can get it to work. This is, everything else that comes with esports. This is, a good game. I think it could go far. What can we work together? What do you think? I mean, do you think that's a good start? Because I think, like I said, we have to get PC into the market if we want to get bigger. There's a whole untapped market out there that's not being tapped into, and the only way I feel like is you have to put it in the grander stage. Like when we all watch, what are we watching? We're watching tournaments, and when we all see it on PlayStation, they're like, okay, oh, that's cool, but what is it going to do for me? Like, what is it going to do for my brand?
I agree too. I think that's the thing that Capcom is missing is the PC market.
Right.
If they can tap into the PC market and grab partnerships from Asus, Gigabyte, whatever technology company, and if they can, and if they can represent their brand, just putting their brand on their Capcom's logo or whatever, if they can represent their brand and also use their brand, their products in tournament, that would help Capcom so much. I'm sure they've gotten so much offers on that, and they just probably refused it.
Right. I think it's like I said. So what do you think the reason the community is so against it? Like a lot of the community and a lot of tournament organizers don't want to even try it. I mean, I know you said the risk reward type of thing, but I mean, do you think that's
they're refusing or they don't want to try it because in tournaments, when they're organizing tournaments like ranking events or premier events, it's an actual abiding to the contract where they cannot play any console besides only PS4.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay. So you think after the fact, once that runs out, maybe in the next iteration of the game, you think more tournament organizers? Because the reason why I say that is because I think, because I remember in 4, I remember when it was getting into like the Ultra, I think that was the last iteration of the game. It was PC, like they didn't have that deal, and I didn't really see many people using the PC setups. I thought that was a big chance for them to use it.
I'm just saying from assumption that is the case, that they cannot play on a different console. They can only play on PS4 because of the contract base. Right. I'm sure someone would have already stepped up by now and made a PC format of the tournament for Street Fighter specifically, but no one has it. So there really isn't no risk. They have to abide to the tournament rules, which is to only play on PS4 console. Okay. Because that is part of the tournament rules. Right. Okay, so if Capcom can change that, and if they get partnered with other certain types of technology companies, they can change that contract to say you can play on PC as well.
Okay. And, so what would you say to the people that would say, because like I said, I've heard a lot of people complaining that they wouldn't want PC to be a part of tournament because of the problems that it would bring, like, with setups and controller malfunctions and things of that nature. What do you think about that? About them saying that? Because I mean, I think it's going to happen regardless. It's not. It's going to happen regardless.
It happens with PS. It doesn't happen with PC. It happens with PS4 too, right? Yeah. So I mean, from my experience, the controllers don't usually. The controller is harder to set up on PC because if you're playing pad or if you have a Brooks converter or whatever, it's hard for the PC to navigate it and pick that up. So yeah, there's a lot of configuration involved, but it's worth it in the end because neither parties can complain after losing, because at the end of the day, there's no lag reduction in the game.
Right. And I mean, I would think if I was to be a betting man and I would put a new configuration, I would say that a PC would be able to find way more configurations that you will be able to find on a regular system, because of the the internet downloadables, drivers and stuff like that. Yeah. I think there's a way around that, in the sense where you say, hey, look, like for instance, who's the guy that uses the PS1 controller? He uses a PS1 controller to play the game. I forget his name.
I don't remember.
He plays, I think, Mika.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, he plays a PS1 controller. So what I would do to try to alleviate the pressure on the PC is like, okay, look, if you're gonna register for this tournament, what controller are you gonna be using? So that we know the controller that you're using, what maybe drivers we need to download, whatever, and try to take precautions on that end. And it may be a little bit more setup, it may take a little bit more time, but I mean, you got to do what it is that you got to. I mean, what are you supposed to do? What else are you gonna do?
That's cool. Yeah, if you can let Smash GG know like what controller you're using,
right?
When you sign up the tournament, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, like you have to. Anyway, this is all to say that there's a lot of excuses. But what are the solutions that you're coming up with instead of just throwing out excuses? Like I said, I was hearing a lot of excuses, but okay, you guys want money, right? you guys want money. You got to go to the money, and how else to go to the money is to stop making the excuses and work for solutions so we can make this money.
Yeah, pretty much it.
So with that, because you started to bring in your knowledge of investments and stuff like that. How did you get into that field, and what brought you into?
Well, what really brought me into invest? Yeah, mainly cryptocurrency in general. What really brought me into investments is I don't know, when funny enough, Scooter was talking about Bitcoin way back in the day in high school.
Oh wow!
And he's like, he laughed at me because this was after high school, and he's like, and we're just sitting here talking about Bitcoin. He's like, damn man, I was looking at he's like, damn man, I was looking at Bitcoin, like even when we were in high school. I was like, I should have bought this shit. He's like, I should have bought this shit. He's like, I didn't know this shit was gonna go so high. He's like, I'm like, well, damn, yeah. If you bought like 100 Bitcoins back in high school, you would have had a turnover of $1 million per coin.
Jesus.
Yeah. So I mean, it was crazy. Like, but anyway, when I started studying Bitcoin, that's when I really started getting into understanding before I even started investing, I had to understand all the terminology behind Bitcoin, right? I'm not going to explain it right now because there's too much. It's going to take too much time and too much terminology. But I'll just give you the gist. Basically, it's a different form of transaction on the internet. You pay someone in digital currency, and they receive their funds. It's the same thing. It's just our funds are placed on a network. It depends on a network, and that network is provided by the community. So if that network ever gets shut down, your transactions are slow. Your transactions don't go through until it gets back up, right? So the thing is, what really sparked an interest in me is that I noticed the cryptocurrency or digital currency was still in the adoption phase. There was a lot of opportunities to make a lot of money from the market. So I started doing a lot of research. And when I started researching, and I was doing I would wake up, research, and just sit there for like 24 hours.
Jesus. Reading,
and I would rinse and repeat this for like weeks and weeks and weeks, and until I finally understood the integrity and entire meaning of cryptocurrency. Like I had an epiphany. Like I had like a
light bulb.
Like, I had a light bulb. Like I was like, damn, I think I'm going crazy, or I don't know, it's just me. But I started reading, and in digital currency market like this, Bitcoin's not the only coin. Like there's other coins out there. There's other fraudulent coins out there. There's other scam coins out there. But that's where you pick up the ones that are actually true. And because at the end of the day, all these coins is the same thing as stocks. Like you're investing into a digital company that's providing you shareholders, but it's digital shareholders, right? So, it's after that I started doing a lot of research. I found a different coin called Monero, and that's when I really started understanding the psychological impact of what investments can do, how research can do overall, and how stock and how everything works overall. Because I understood that here's the thing: Bitcoin used to be a private transaction. So if you made a transaction with Bitcoin and you bought something on usually people would buy they'll go on the black market, they'll buy something crazy, like they'll buy cocaine or whatever. Like if they bought cocaine with Bitcoin in the black market, that transaction was hidden. It's private. No one can see it. No one can find it. It's gone. It's untraceable. When I was researching Bitcoin at the time, Bitcoin was no longer as private or untraceable as before. It could have been traced when I was researching Bitcoin, but it was still considered private. Nobody can see the transaction, but it's still traceable. Okay. So what Monero what they did was they produced their own digital coin, and then they added the technology and the programming into the coin, into whatever the networking, and they made Monero able to be untraceable at all times. So what this does is it literally replaces the niche of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, the main purpose was to use it to buy
black market stuff,
shady transactions, right? And
now that it's trackable.
Now that it's trackable, I had this, and this gave me like a crazy idea. Like, okay, well, let's just think about it for a second. Let's think about all the China gang organizations. Let's think about all the big ass organizations that are probably using Bitcoin, because let's face it, gang organizations, criminal organizations, they're fucking smart as fuck. They're not stupid, they're smart, right? They're always wanting to move money around and shit. So I'm just thinking this as an investor's point of view. Always got to think outside the box, right? So I thought about this. So okay, so if the investors realize that Bitcoin is more traceable now. What if they start moving their money over to Monero? And Monero just came out at the time, so it was only worth like around $4 per coin. And then when I started researching, it was worth $4 a coin. I got into the market around an average of $8 per coin, and I threw in 10 grand I threw in 10 grand into the market. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I projected at least a year and a half to 2 years that it will go up by a lot. And I told all my friends, I told all my families, I told my friends, you should. I told them the idea, and they thought, Josh, you're fucking crazy. Cero, you're fucking crazy. This is a scam. This is the blah 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 whatever, right? And then I look at other. I'm not just looking at Monero. There's other markets I'm looking at as well. Same thing. But the idea is find the niche of what the company is doing, and then try and incorporate that into a world economic sense, like provide for the whole entire world. See what it can provide for the whole entire world. Right? For this particular niche for Monero, it could provide untraceable transactions for only big organizations that are doing shady transactions. So in this case, fast forwarding to a year and a half, I was actually on the spot. I projected that the coin will be around $500 tops. So it actually hit per coin. So it actually did hit almost 500. It hit 495, and then it started going down because what comes up must go down. It's general rule of thumb, right? So and it's crazy. People were messaging me, I should have bought Monero, blah blah blah. And you know what? I didn't want to hate to say, but I told you so, right? And then this is when people start asking me, what's the next thing that's gonna go up? Blah blah. What's this? How can I get into the market? What do I do? What do I research? And at this point, I found another opportunity for myself. I became a third-party broker for people who didn't want to take the time to invest. I didn't want to take the time to research and do whatever. They wanted to just give me money and help them invest, and I take a certain percentage. And that worked out for a bit, and then it got too much. It got too overwhelming for me because I was handling too much numbers, and I was also doing gaming at the same time.
So you had to choose.
Yeah, so I just stopped doing everything in general. I'm just doing long-term investment for now, and doing this, doing Street Fighter and streaming. And I don't really have to worry about it too much.
So it goes back to the same thing that we were saying. You gotta notice the trend and move with the trend.
Yeah,
it seems like you got a good mindset on moving with what's going on.
Because if you are an investor, you have to be researching in the market or researching news in general. All your resources, at least maybe like 2-3 hours a day. But if you're doing it full time, I'd recommend doing maybe 10 to 24 hours a day.
Jesus, but I mean that's the cost, man. That's the cost.
Yeah, that's the trade-off. If you don't want to work, if you don't want to work a 9 to 5, you want to be successful. You have to surpass your limits.
Right. That's true. Damn, that's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Did you still have someone too?
No, that's mine. That's actually mine.
Yeah, good. But it's true though. It's I have a lot of other people that are young, starting entrepreneurs, and passionate about certain things, and you all hear the same constants. Like we may not all be millionaires or making all this amount of money. Some of us are struggling, but that doesn't mean the mindset is not the same. Like I tell a lot of there's a lot of people. When I look at, let's say, the younger generation, I'm looking at a lot of younger kids, and they want to sleep all day. Let's just say, for instance, and then they want to make all this money, and I'm just like, that's not, how is that supposed to work? You can't sleep 12 hours a day and then think the other 12 hours, you're gonna make money. If you're not waking up in the middle of the night with an idea and like, I gotta get up and I gotta put this down, I gotta do, then you don't have what it takes. Like, I mean, it's just being honest. If you're not gonna wake up and I use the phrase, wake up and stop making excuses and just fucking fold your bed or some shit like that, then you can't make it, because you don't have that. It's a discipline. It's an understanding that I've got to sacrifice maybe some of the more comfortable things like sleep and eating sometimes, because you want something greater than what's going on right now. And if you notice, a lot of people have those same mentalities.
It's hard to find that that motivation
because
it's because of our families.
Yeah.
Because we are subliminally embedded with the ideas of, that your family wants you to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you can't find your own route in life.
Right.
And that's fine. If you want to make your family happy, that's fine. But I mean, just know that if you take an adventure and a journey on your own and grow from the bottom to up, it becomes more rewarding and successful.
Right. Especially for you. Everybody will see it maybe in the end. But
yeah, because I just have a high school graduate degree. I just graduated from high school. That's it. I never went back to school.
Right.
I'm just working my way up. That's it.
Right. And self-taught. I mean, you did everything else. Is just you just researched it.
All these skills I've picked up is from my biological father. Like I was so inspired of him. Being able to pick up so many skills.
Right.
I want to do the same thing. I do hair. I do makeup. I do nails. I do anything at a salon, fucking what else is there? I do vocal coaching, I teach people about financial investments, there's so many things I can list, but there's just so many skills I have picked up over the course of ever since I was a kid till now is very humble. It's very inspiring for myself.
Yeah, that's cool. So segueing into the ending, I know we were talking before we even started that you feel like you get into that point where now you got to find what it is that you want to do. What made you feel like that? Now it seems like the way I was getting in is that all right, I dabbled in a lot of things. I think now I want to start segueing into what I think I'm going to be for the next couple of years of my life, or
that's because I've always been born to play games. Ever since I was a kid, I want to play games. You see other people playing games, and they get paid to play games.
Right.
They become a celebrity. I want that. I want to get to that level,
Right.
And that's what's really inspiring because I'm a fucking gamer.
Right. Yeah, you gotta stop. How you say, stop denying it, right? It's just all right. So that, do you feel like that's it now? That if you see yourself in the next maybe 10, 15 years, where you think you would be at?
In the next 10, 15 years, I will probably be a social worker and also doing other things on the side as well. So, yeah.
So you think the fighting game, the gaming, the fighting games, you think that'll be in the not as
or
something
like that? It'll still be there. Everything will still be there. I'll do social. I'm doing social worker still though.
Right.
I'll try and fit everything in one spot, but balancing it will be pretty hard. But that's what I plan on doing. I've always dreamt of being a social worker.
Right.
Not because of it's just inspiring that my mom was able to be helped by a social worker.
Right.
If it wasn't for the social worker, we probably wouldn't even be here.
Right. True.
Yeah. Right. So there's a lot of passion and inspiration behind that.
What do you think you could take from your experience in let's say gaming to if you want to be social work? What do you think that could help you with that? To gladly explain to parents that are having trouble about my failures and relate to them. Mm.
I can relate to them on anything that they've experienced.
Right.
Hardships. I can not relate, but I can even understand it and grasp it, and and then try to think of a solution. It'll definitely be because of the experience I've handled over the course of time, my lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing of social work. I think social working it has it in there. Social, right? Social, you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to relate. If you don't have those qualities, then
I mean, you can't just get a degree in social work and just go into the field.
Right.
You're not gonna get anywhere, right?
Yeah. And I think that kind of sucks for somebody like you too, because I don't know any other way but at least getting some kind of degree to get into social work.
Exactly. I mean, you have to. It's the only way.
Yeah, it's only that sucks because you'll have the life experience, but a lot of these people need that paper. That kind of sucks. But all right, man. I don't know. That's all I got right for now. And I know we've been up for a while, man.
We've been for a while. It's 2 hours, man.
Oh shit, really? Damn, the time went quick, man.
It's long as podcast, bro.
Yeah. I mean, well, I usually don't try when I do these things. Like I said, that's why when I told you in the beginning, I don't want it to be like a Barbara Walters type of thing. What I'm gonna do is when I'll chop it up a little bit, so kind of get the certain categories.
Oh, I see. All right.
But I want it to be kind of free flowing. If I was
was
right
free
next
flowing.
to you, if I was next to you and we was talk, that's how I would want it to be. Like, yo, fucking just going in, yeah. But so yeah, I mean that's a good conversation. We're gonna get you on. Yeah, I gotta get you on again, man. When you got some more time. Like
Word.
Well,
you got anything else to ask, or?
No, I mean, anything you want to plug in before? Anything that
really.
you want to say to your peoples about?
I think everyone knows me, but I mean, y'all know I be streaming 24 hours. I'm probably gonna do it tomorrow. So I
was gonna mention that. Well, that's more of a personal thing, but yeah, man. If you're gonna be doing the 24 hours, have you been like at least having like a healthy lifestyle? Like
I make sure I'm eating and drinking water. That's the most thing. Cause I'm used to the 24 hours is because I used to fast a lot while playing League of Legends. Mm-hmm. I played 24 hours of League back in the days, and after that I take a break. I eat whatever, do whatever, sleep, wake up, do it again, and I would rinse and repeat. Like I consecutively played League of Legends 24 hours for like months.
Wow.
That's how bad it was.
So and that's why you still are used to it.
I got used to it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And the way my sleep schedule works is like I can adapt to any sleeping schedule. Like I can sleep in the nighttime, I can sleep in the morning, like whatever. Like, but as soon as I hit on the plane, I can't sleep. It's ridiculous. That's just whack. I actually have to take a sleeping pill to sleep on the plane. It's crazy.
Oh, speaking of that, what are the like? So I mean,
obviously, we're gonna be.
Yeah, when are you gonna be for the next season?
We're gonna be in New York next week, boy. Next Friday. Yeah, we in New York next Friday.
I gotta hit you up, man.
Anyone in New York, I'm gonna see you all there. We'll be there.
What's out here?
ECT. It's in New Jersey. Yeah, it's in New Jersey. So I'm gonna be there. Gonna eat with Scooter because Scooter gonna come through. And then the following next week, I got to travel again to the Canada Cup, so that's in Toronto.
Right.
Yeah, and then from there on, we don't know. I might be at the last chance qualifier, and then
that's
I don't know where it is. I don't know what it is.
I thought it was right in where the same place Camp Cup is going to be.
I don't remember. Probably, yeah. But after that, and then it's next year, and see what happens.
Yeah. Well, where in Jersey, East Coast Throwdown is gonna be? You know?
I have no idea.
I'll check it because I mean it's probably driving distance, and I'll try to make it out because I've been doing so much with this and other things. I'm gonna be teaching martial arts soon to little kids, so I've been really. You know how it is sometimes. When you mold to focus on one thing, something else falls off, and since I haven't been Street Fighter,
for sure, like.
Yeah,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know how it is. 24 hours reading on cryptocurrency. I'm pretty sure a lot of things is fading in the background some days.
So. It is. That's just behind me now. Like I actually have to read now if I want to like pick up on something. But from all the fundamentals of digital currency is still with me.
Right. And investing and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I gotta. I'm gonna make sure I hit you up and. I'll see what the tickets are like, and I'll probably drive down there. Hopefully, they'll have like parking and stuff. And I know, like I said, the next year, the plan is to the connections that I made to really try to solidify it and really try to get out there and really be out there in person with some of these people and really try to grow something. Because I feel like that's the next step. You know what I'm saying? The next step with the circle.
For sure.
Anyway, a pleasure. Speaking with you. We're gonna do this again for sure. ECT, you're gonna be out there. Blast Cero on Twitter. You say you don't really mess with Instagram too much, but right now Twitter you on. You're always on Twitch. Twitch.tv CeroBlast, right? CeroBlast, right?
Yeah.
And the Twitch is Blast Cero.
Stupid.
Yo, that's that. Yeah, the social media, like setting everything in uniform is so hard, dude.
Yeah, I know.
But all right, brother. Have a good
night. I'll catch y'all later, man. Thanks for having me.
Peace out. And I hit you up, man. We're talking about ECT and stuff.
All right, brother. Peace.
So yeah, everybody, man. I appreciate you guys coming through. We were talking for a while. So I'm glad for all of you that really stood to hear what was going on. Blessings to all. I'll catch you guys probably most likely on Monday because you know, I got to take a break. Usually on the weekends I don't even do these streams, but you know, hit the follow, hit me up on the other social media sites. My link is right there. You know, I'll put this up on podcast form, and I'll throw it up on YouTube as well. So you know, check it out there. And that's it, guys. Blessings to all. Have a good night. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.